Rock and Road Pod, brought to you by the Honda Engine Room.
Hello and welcome to episode 4, series 4 of the Rock and Road podcast with me, Leona Graham. Hope you've been okay since we last spoke, or you last listened to me and perhaps messaged me back. It's a bit of a one-way street. I want more of your messages, more of your feedback. But regardless, I'm so glad that you are listening to this, even if you are a silent listener. Now, this week's episode is a Motorcycle Live special, so there is more of an emphasis on motorbikes this week. We'll be talking to Finlay McAllan, organiser of Motorcycle Live, which is taking place this weekend, or from this weekend, at the Birmingham NEC. Also, I'll be speaking to Emma Franklin from the MCN newspaper about Motorcycle Live, the new Fireblade, amongst other things, and what she's got in her paper this week. I'll be speaking to Gary Perrin, who works at a Honda franchise, but is also known as My Mate Gary. And we'll be talking about some of the exciting news that Honda has brought out this week, because they've announced a few new motorcycles, and I'll be featuring this weekend at the event, but we thought we'd have a bit of a pre-conversation about what we anticipate they are going to be like. I'll also bring you the latest music news, what's going on in the UK album charts, and more. But first of all, Motorcycle Live. Right, well, let's speak to the organiser of Motorcycle Live, Finlay McAllan. Hi there.
Hi Leona, how are you doing?
Yes, good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. It makes a nice change to be talking to you from an office about a show that's actually going to happen rather than my bedroom and a virtual event. So yeah,
I know, because we spoke this time last year, didn't we? So it's so good that this is back, and I think everyone appreciates it so much more.
Yeah, I think there's a real urgency and a real hunger for getting out and about now that things are sort of getting back to normal. So this will be the first show that we've done for the general public in 2 years. So it's going to be really exciting.
Yes. Now, I also want to say, can you describe Motorcycle Live to people who've not been and have no clue about it at all? How would you describe it?
It's Motorcycle Live is anything and everything to do with motorcycling, be it for a beginner that wants to come along and find out about getting involved and what to do and where to go, right the way through to the seasoned motorcyclist who's had a licence for years and is looking to sort of decide on their new purchase. And for music, it would be a motorcycle nirvana, really.
So basically, it's every single motorcycling brand you can think of, all in one gigantic venue, the NEC, and each brand, say like I'm with Honda, so we will have like a large area with all of our best bikes on display and biker clothing and everything. So if you were new, you could have a wander around and think, oh, what's that bike? And go and ask people. And it's a great place to begin, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think that the key thing about Motorcycle Live is you're right. We do have all the brands there. We do have all the bikes, but it's the live bit that really sets us apart from everything else. So you can ride a bike at Motorcycle Live from the age of 2. And that means we've got balance bikes with Kiddie Moto. We've got an MCI tri-ride feature where you can take your first ride. We've got a test ride zone for sort of the larger bikes. We build this internal dirt track where kids can have their first ride on an off-road bike, and then also the adults can ride the big adventure bikes for the first time to test ride those. And then the big development from this year, or for this year, is that we've got a new electric test ride zone. So an area dedicated to all the manufacturers that have got electric product, which is really great because there's no noise, there's no fumes, it's indoors, it's warm, it's new, it's exciting, and it's the future.
Ah, that's really good to incorporate that because it is indeed the future. I mean, reviewing a lot of electric cars, but there's not as many bikes, so it's definitely something that will be changing, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a lot more smaller manufacturers that are jumped on board and really delivering some really funky, exciting product. And I think that's where the new market will be developed, because none of the stuff that was involved in motorcycling when I got involved, like tightening chains and putting petrol and oil in, is actually involved anymore. They're really groovy, funky looking things. And, you know, the fact that they're sort of on point in terms of messaging, in terms of the economy and in terms of the climate and everything else. I think people are more likely to get involved in that now. And it's a sector of the market that we're going to see grow and grow.
Yeah, I completely agree. So if you wanted to come, you buy the tickets on your website. What if the kids wanted to take part? Do you have to book those things in advance?
For the balance bikes and for the kids off-road, no, you just turn up. In fact, for all of them, we really prefer people just to turn up on site. We provide the kit for most things, although with the pandemic and everything out there, we'd ask if you want to ride a bike, bring your own kit. But if you're quite happy using ours, then we will provide it. And we split the bookings into morning sessions and afternoon sessions. So don't worry if you haven't legged it there and got there in the queue first at 10 o'clock in the morning. There will be another set of bookings opening up at lunchtime on all of our features.
Oh, okay, so you book it as you go. And when I went a few years ago, I remember all the indoor bit, but I don't remember this bit. Is there an outside section then?
No, what we actually do is we bring outside inside. So effectively what I'm going to do is I'm going to section off an area of Hall 4, and then we're going to bring in tons and tons and tons of dirt, and we're going to build a track for people to ride on.
Oh, I bet the NEC love you.
Yes, they do.
Who gets to clear all that up then?
We have to do it, unfortunately.
Oh, wow, I bet you do. What would you say to people who are not bikers that will just come for a day out?
I think there's lots of things for people to see and do. There's entertainment. We've got a stage where we do. A lot of people that are into motorcycling might only be into the sport. So we have a central stage, and that's hosted by ex-riders Steve Parrish and James Whittam. And we have all kinds of riding stars that are there right the way throughout the week. And we have a whole day that's dedicated to BSB, which is the British Superbike Championship. So I know a lot of my friends who are very into motorcycle sport and the riders and the celebrities around that, but aren't actually motorcycle licence holders. So there's plenty for people that are into that to come and see and do.
I mean, obviously, a lot of people listen to my podcast aren't necessarily bikers, so definitely going for a more broader appeal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Finlay, thank you so much for chatting to us. I'm so excited that it's happening for real, in real life, and we'll see you in a few weeks. Side note, of course, I do mean we'll see him this weekend, but this was recorded a little while ago. And just a note, since recording this, that new virus variant has come along, hasn't it? But I have checked with Finlay and the NEC. Masks are encouraged, but not compulsory. They're just recommended. OK, back to our goodbyes.
Yeah, I look forward to it. Nice to speak to you, Leona.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
The MCN Minute on the Rock and Road Podcast.
Please welcome to the podcast Emma Franklin from MCN Motorcycle News. Hi, Emma.
Hi, Leona. How you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really, really well. I was out yesterday riding my Hayabusa against the previous version for a road test, so I'm buzzing now.
I saw your little Instagram post saying, what was it you said about buses?
Yeah, so Hayabusa buses, so it was a little bit of a, play on words. So we had lovely...
quite funny. So you've got two Hayabusas at once. So, Emma, what's happening in the paper this week?
So, probably right as we speak right now, our chief road tester, Michael Neves, will be enjoying the sun in Ascari Circuit in Spain, and he'll be getting his first ride of the new Triumph Speed Triple 1200 RR. So this is Triumph's new retro sports bike that's based on the Speed Triple, and it looks absolutely beautiful. It's got a lovely sort of like 1960s inspired retro fairing with little clip-ons and high foot pegs, and it's going to be awesome. So you can read all about what Neevesy thinks in this week's issue. Okay, anything for the big event this weekend? Oh, yeah, and obviously, it's Motorcycle Live, isn't it? It's show week, we can't wait.
I'm very excited.
I know, I think we all are, aren't we? We've all been like caged beasts, haven't we? Because it's been a long time since we've had a Motorcycle Live. So, I mean, everyone who's going to be there should definitely pop along to the Motorcycle News road test cinema that we've got going on, where you can sit back and have a half an hour watching our best road tests of the year on a cinema screen. So, that'll be something to look forward to for everyone, I think. Okay. Hopefully.
And where are you sitting? Are you near me? I'm going to be over at Honda.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure where we're going to be. I think we've got our own little sort of setup maybe near the stage. So I know you're going to be on Honda stand. So we'll have to come over and you can show me around. Is the new Fireblade going to be there?
Yes, the new 30th edition anniversary Fireblade is going to be there. What are your thoughts on that from what you've seen so far, Emma?
Yeah, I absolutely adore it. I mean, I own a Fireblade SP myself, but last year's model. So when I first saw that, I thought, wow, I love the bike anyway. And I think it's a fitting way to celebrate 30 years of the blade because it just looks stunning, absolutely beautiful.
There's a lot of improvements to last year's one. So then you're thinking, well, how can they improve any more than that?
I know. I think they've changed the gearing a little bit. So they've gone bigger with the rear sprocket because that was one of the big criticisms of the bike. That it's really, really tall geared. I mean, it'll do over 120 mile an hour in first gear, and it's just like
Oh, wow.
too crazy for the road. So that's probably a sensible thing they've done for road riders. But yeah, it's like improving on perfection really for me, because I'm a bit of a I'm a converse.
What about the colour scheme? Because they've done a kind of a tribute to the original one 30 years ago and used the same colours. Do you like it?
Yeah, I absolutely love it. I mean, the colour scheme is iconic Fireblade. When anyone ever thinks of that 92 blade, they always think of that colour scheme. That is. So, yeah, I love it. Absolutely beautiful.
Okay, brilliant. Well, hopefully I will see you there.
Yeah.
And the paper is out on Wednesday. So are you going to be talking about Motorcycle Live? Will that be the week after, I guess?
That'll probably be the week after. But
Yeah.
what I will say about this week's paper, and I can't really go into much details about it because it's secret.
Cliffhanger.
But cliffhanger, you need to buy it, especially if you're a fan of the TT, because it's the news every TT fan wants to hear. That's all I can say.
And you're going to leave us with that little teaser?
Yeah.
How dare you? Well, the paper's out on Wednesday and we can find out what Emma's talking about.
Brilliant. Yeah.
All right. Well, hopefully see you this weekend at Motorcycle Live and have a great week.
Yeah, and you too. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, Emma. Bye.
The MCN Minute on the Rock and Road podcast. Buy the latest issue in store and online at motorcyclenews.com.
Now on the podcast, Gary Perrin from Doughballs Honda, also known as my mate Gary. How you doing, Gary?
I'm doing great, Leona. How are you?
Yes, I'm all right, thank you. So I'm excited about Motorcycle Live this weekend, and you are inadvertently becoming a bit of a representative of Honda, because I keep getting you to talk about Hondas. Even though you work there, you're not, like, in any way being forced to talk about Honda motorcycles, are you?
I'm not being forced to talk about Honda motorcycles. I mean, I work for a dealer. We're a franchise, so I'm quite happy to talk about Hondas. It's what I know. It's what I work on every day. So no problem at all.
Okay, so I want to know, because obviously I'm going to see it for the first time this weekend, and lots of people are, about the new Honda Fireblade 30th Anniversary Edition. Of course, you've got a Fireblade of your own, one of the older models, but tell us about this 30th one.
Well, the 30th, I mean, the Fireblade got hugely updated in 2020. We waited a long time for it to come through due to COVID, etc., etc. It's proved very successful this year in Superstock racing. Honda are rightly going to celebrate 30 years of it being in existence. So 1992 we first saw it. And they've tweaked it, modified a few things, changed a few bits, and they've also thrown in a colour scheme that harks back to the original.
So we're going to have a look at that the weekend. I say well, I'm going to do some filming with the Honda Engine Room, and
I know, you've lucked out on that one, haven't you?
You know, just a bit. So I'm really excited about that. But the Fireblade's obviously been going 30 years, and the first one was groundbreaking, wasn't it? I mean, if you look at it visually, it's got the same colour scheme as this 30th one, obviously, but it's got much more rounded headlights, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the first generation, 30 years ago, it's quite a long time. And at the time, it was a complete change in direction in terms of production sports motorcycles. Everything was different to what had gone before. The way the frame was constructed, the fact that they focused so intently on lightweight.
Well, I heard from the men that designed it that they had to lose 15 kilograms.
Yeah, to the chief designer, Tadal Baba, he was fanatical about weight saving. And he was also one of the test riders on the project, and he was a bit of a racer in his day. And he was just, every time he went out and he just came back and went, no, we've got to make it lighter, we've got to make it lighter. I can't remember what the initial weight was. I think it was kind of 180 something kilograms, which was probably about 40 kilograms lighter than anything that had gone before in the same category of bike.
And they just kept making each component, and he'd say, look, make that thinner, lighter,
Thinner, smaller, lighter,
until it breaks, and then go back, reverse one step.
Yeah.
It was pretty much how he did it for every component.
That's exactly it. That's what we hear. I mean, I've always been a punter. I work for a dealership, but I've really just been a punter, and I've had a love for Fireblades since they came out. And yeah, you read the stories, you read the history, and I've grown up with it. I mean, it's been around since I started riding.
So it's pretty exciting they got this 30th out. I mean, would you be buying one, Gary? Let's say you had unlimited funds here. What would you get one?
Oh, if I had unlimited funds, I'd have 3.
Now, the other new bike that they've announced that we'll be seeing at the Motorcycle Live is the ADV 350, which is a large scooter.
Yeah, it's not a learner legal. It's not a maxi scooter. It's kind of filling that little gap in my eyes. Again, I've not seen it yet. I'm going to be coming to the bike show on the 4th, so the first day. So I will see it in the flesh for then. But yeah, to me, it's filling that gap between learner legal and maxi scooter, but with good protection, electric screen, good underseat storage.
2 helmets in the underseat.
Yeah, and not quite so basic as like your SH350, something like that. And with that kind of adventure bike styling carried over from the ADV 750, I think it's going to be interesting.
The other one is the NT 1100. And they had some NTs before, didn't they?
The DeVille range, the NT kind of 650, 700 was known as the DeVille. And it was more couriers used them, people used them to commute to work on because they had nice fairing, they had built-in panniers.
So this would be a cross
drive.
between something like that and a Tourer. It's a halfway house between them.
Yeah, I mean, you could do distance on it. It wouldn't be as comfortable as a Goldwing. It wouldn't be as comfortable as a Pan-European, but it would certainly be more comfortable than touring on a Fireblade.
Yes.
And the advantages of the built-in panniers and stuff made it kind of easy to use, which was why they became great for commuting, that allied to the shaft drive, so you didn't have a chain to worry about.
Okay, so that's the NT 1100. Those are the new ones we'll be looking out for this weekend, as well as, slight changes on the others, colour changes and things like that. But those are the main things to look out for.
Yeah.
So if anyone's going this weekend, I'm going Saturday and Sunday. Gary, you said you're going Friday?
No, I'm coming up on Saturday.
Oh, sorry, you're coming Saturday. Good, I was going to say, you're going the day before me. But you're coming on the Saturday. Good.
I'll be there when you're there, so the beer's on you.
Oh, God. All right, I'm actually there Sunday and Monday. Did I say that?
No.
Yeah, no worries at all. All right, well, come and find me and Gary and the rest of us on the Honda stand this weekend at Motorcycle Live. Thanks, Gary.
No problem. See you soon.
The Rock and Road Pod Music News, brought to you by music-news.com.
Time for some music news. Let's have a quick look at the album charts, which is a bit of a snapshot of what's going on. New entry at number 9 for James Blunt with his album The Stars Beneath My Feet. At 7, Elbow, Flying Dream 1, their latest album. Guy Garvey from Elbow was talking recently about wanting to make a musical out of Elbow songs, because their songs are very sort of orchestral, and I could see that working, actually. At number 5, a new entry for Robert Plant and Alison Krauss. He's been teaming up with her for years. Their album is called Raise the Roof. There were some big albums that came out last week and now featuring in the charts. Oasis Nebworth 1996, and we have Adele, of course, at number 1 with her album 30. In between, you've got Ed Sheeran with Equals. If Adele and Ed Sheeran aren't in the charts at Christmas time, there's something wrong, because those two always rock out an album around now, and it always does extremely well. Some new albums to look out for. Travis are re-releasing their album The Invisible Band for the 20th anniversary deluxe reissue. That's out this week, December the 3rd, and it includes a cover version of Queen's classic hit, Killer Queen, from 1974. I bet that's going to sound good. Another one to look out for is Paul Weller, who is releasing an album, an orchestrated songbook, out on December the 10th, featuring orchestral versions of a lot of his songs and the jam songs. The first single to come from that is My Ever-Changing Moods. I've got to say, that is one that is not up my street at all. I'm not really into orchestral versions of songs. For some reason, it just doesn't appeal to me. Same with acoustic albums as well. Not interested. But it might be a great Christmas present as well, so look out for that. Paul Weller with his new album, an orchestrated songbook, out on December the 10th. So that's it from the podcast this week. I'll hopefully see you this weekend at Motorcycle Live at the NEC Birmingham. It all starts this Saturday, the 4th of December, right through to the 12th of December. I'm there this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. I will be on the Honda stand doing some filming for the Honda Engine Room, so you can watch me on their videos as well. And we'll have more on the next episode of the Rock and Road podcast. Thank you for listening. See you soon.
Rock and Road Pod, brought to you by the Honda Engine Room. Visit honda.co.uk/engine room.